A moral panic is the intensity of feeling expressed in a population about an issue that appears to threaten the social order. According to Stanley Cohen, author of Folk Devils and Moral Panics, 1972, and credited as creator of the term, a moral panic occurs when a condition, episode, person, or group of persons emerges to become defined as a threat to societal values and interests. Those who start the panic, when they fear a threat to prevailing social or cultural values, are known by researchers as moral entrepreneurs, while people who supposedly threaten the social order have been described as folk devils. Moral panics are, in essence, controversies that involve arguments and social tension, and in which disagreement is difficult because the matter at its center is taboo. The media have long operated as agents of moral indignation, even when they are not consciously engaged in crusading or muckraking. Simply reporting the facts can be enough to generate concern, anxiety, or panic. Okay, I'd like to read a few paragraphs from an academic paper written by Haley Burns called "What Are Moral Panics?" Okay, quote. Cohen's study originated from his interest in the youth culture and its perceived potential threat to social order. Throughout each era, a group has emerged who fits the criteria, such as the Teddy Boys, Mods and Rockers, Skinheads, and Hells Angels. They all become associated with certain types of violence, which in turn also provoke public reaction and emotion as topics in their own right. Such issues as football hooliganism, drug abuse, vandalism, and political demonstrations all struck a chord in public opinion, but the impact might not have been on such a large scale were it not for the part the mass media play in the exposition of the facts. Cohen's study was primarily about the mods and rockers of the 1960s and the treatment they received in the public eye. The main criticism was that they were seen as a threat to law and order, largely through the way the mass media represented them, in the form of what Cohen calls the control culture. Largely, this refers to the media sensationalizing an event and then calling for a punishment to be set to persecute the offenders. As Eldridge notes, in the process and as part of the dramatic element, scapegoats and folk devils are located and are woven into the narrative. In other terms, Society cannot accept responsibility for its own failures, and so they look to find someone who can be incriminated. The amplification which takes place through the media's work serves to appeal to the public so that they concur with ready-made opinions about the course of action to be taken. And these opinions have been found from the members of what Cohen refers to as the moral barricade, i.e., bishops, politicians, and editors. Combined with the opinions of the experts, who are wheeled out to give their diagnosis, they reach an agreement about how to cope with the situation in hand, and the problem either disappears or at least deteriorates. There are various ways in which these panics are dealt with. Sometimes they aren't novel topics. They're topics which have existed in society for a considerable time, but a particular event has triggered the significance. Although generally they pass as quickly as they came and are long forgotten, there are occasions when the consequences and repercussions are so long-lasting and so much in the public eye that they can affect legal and social policy, or, as Eldridge puts it, even the way society perceives itself. End quote. Well, I think it's true to say that whether a moral panic lasts for a very short or comparatively long time, what it does is it tends to inhibit rational discussion and debate about the social problem or issue on the table. Where we have a media-generated moral panic, a moral panic which leads to a certain group or groups being vilified or even demonized, then we have a situation where perhaps big chunks of the population, or a large percentage of the public, are not thinking for themselves. They are listening to the moral entrepreneurs. They are nodding their heads in agreement, and they are accepting what they are told about the folk devils. They are letting others think for them, is what I'm trying to say. And that is so dangerous. So very dangerous. It's very easy, I think, for people in positions of power to create fear and anxiety given the right set of circumstances. You know, one thing I wish people did a lot less of in this country is read tabloid newspapers. It's really not good for people, I would say. I stopped reading sensationalist rubbish myself a long time ago. Anyway, I will catch you later, folks. Take care of yourselves.